Okay, cool. Yeah, so I got like just quick over. I mean, we'll go pretty quick through this because I want to keep this pretty casual, and I know you do as well, Nate. But just like a few different pillars here of how we can go from simply using Claude Code to what a lot of people call vibe coding. You know, prompting and praying, where you're pulling that lever like a slot machine, getting to the point where we're really directing it and having that system for reliable and repeatable results. And it really can be simpler than you would think, right? Like most of what people do that you really shouldn't do is you throw in a request and you don't do much of the planning up front or the validation after. Like those are the two things that I really want to talk about here. And that applies to writing any code or any kind of application. It applies to evolving your system, like as you're creating skills and integrations for Claude Code, or even just using it to automate things in your business. And so, yeah, the approach is you always want to plan with context, build out that thing that you're looking to do, and then have an approach for verifying, like as high level as I can possibly keep it. And then the other like kind of golden nugget here is every time you go through this loop with Claude Code, any kind of agentic workflow or thing that you're building, there's always going to be an opportunity at the end to evolve your system. And we'll talk about what that means in a little bit here, but like really that comes down to there's going to be something in the way you work with Claude Code that you can improve so that next time it's going to be better. Mm-hmm. And I'm being high level here on purpose because I'll get into some more examples. But a lot of people don't think about doing this, right?
Yeah.
They kind of like get to the point where it's like, okay, my application works. Like this website looks good, or it's now able to automate creating invoices, like whatever it is. And they're like, all right, we're done. Like let's next time I want to create an invoice, I'm just going to go through the same process again. But like really, there are going to be those problems that come up over time where you can engineer so that they happen less often, right? That system evolution is kind of what I like to call it.
Yeah.
So you're having it learn just like you would an employee, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, like my second brain, I literally call it my co-founder, right? So I want it to like learn me better over time and how I like to work, how I want it to work as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think this 4-step kind of framework or whatever you want to call it, yes, when you kind of maybe look at it like this, it might feel like it's a technical software engineering thing, but if you just relate that back to the same way you would maybe like, let's just say build a treehouse. Like you would plan that thing out first. You would draw it out. You would understand how much wood you need and where. You would get the right gear, and then once you've built it, you're not just going to put your kids on it. You're going to like test it. You're going to make sure that thing's not going to fall. So it's just a great way to think about it, and especially if you think about some of the pitfalls that these models have with like the sycophancy, essentially just being a yes man. If you say, hey, I want to do this, does that look good? And they're just going to say, yeah, it does, without really looking over the plan. And then on the verification side, sometimes they do tell you something's done, but it's not. So having your own method of doing that as well, really important.
Yeah. Verification really comes down to prove to me it's actually done and working, right? And so like for any kind of coding task, that's things like unit tests and linting, and like that's where it gets a little bit more technical, but like really you can apply that to anything. This is an example that I'm going to spoil right now. I use Claude Code to generate this entire diagram. Like
I had a feeling you did, yeah.
yeah. So I have a skill. That's my Excalibur diagram skill. I've covered it on my YouTube channel actually. So I use it to build this whole thing. And I was going to talk about this example a bit more right here when we really get into like verifying the work. But I think it's just such a good there's nothing to do with coding here. It's just creating a diagram.
100%.
But as far as verification goes, I actually have it take the Excalibur diagram and render a PNG. So there's like an integration that I built into the skill for Claude Code so it can render it as an image. And as a lot of you know, like Claude Code is able to understand images incredibly well now. For like the last year, it's been so good at even viewing like if I zoom out here, like there's quite a bit of context, but like it can pick out the tiniest piece of text in a larger image like this. And so I have it look at that and then figure out like if there's any kind of like padding or spacing issues, like if there's any sort of overlap, and trust me, there was. Like I had to iterate a couple times to build something this big. But then the point is like it is able to iterate by itself, so we don't really care about the initial mess ups that it has. As long as it like does that by itself, we just care about that last thing it hands back to us when it says it's done.
Absolutely.
So if we have this step when it says it's done, then like it actually is, or at least it's closer. I mean, it's still probably not going to be perfect, but you get the idea.
Yeah, 100%. I've done something pretty similar with my video editing pipeline with the motion graphics it adds, and sometimes things would be out of bounds. But like you said, the whole idea is it's almost never going to be 100% on that first pass, But without
Yeah.
the verification checks, maybe it's 65 or 70. But now you can get something that is 92 on the first pass.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.